Alright, so today we're going to do NFL predictions week 7. Holy shit, week 7? Yes, week 7. So, let's just hop right into the video because, it's going to be, well, it's not going to be a long one because there's not a lot of games on because there's some teams on the bye week. Alright, let's start with the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Steelers, and there's a lot of potential upsets in this game, like in this week, and I feel like this could be a potential upset. It's division rivals. Anything can happen. It's on Thursday Night Football. We saw the Eagles lost to the Giants. We see a lot of big upsets in Thursday Night Football. We had the 49ers beating the Rams. But I feel like the Steelers will squeak out the win now. Joe Flacco, he looked fine versus the Packers the other day, and honestly, the Packers have like one of the best defenses in the NFL, I guess. I actually don't know at this point because honestly, there's the Packers are not. I don't know. It's either the Packers defense is pretty shitty, or is the Bengals offense is better in Joe Flacco's hands. But other than that, yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Steelers over the Bengals. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have an upset. I wouldn't be surprised. But the Bengals are still pretty bad. So I'm gonna have the Steelers. Alright, going to the London games. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Los Angeles Rams. And honestly, it's gonna be interesting because both teams, well, Jacksonville lost to the Seahawks, and the Rams, they beat the Ravens 17-3. Now they lost Puka for a game. So it looks like Devontae Adams needs to step up, I guess, which is good because it'll be helpful for my fantasy football team. The Jaguars, though, they'll usually play good in London. The Rams, they always like to play, like they always lose a game somehow. Like they lost a game to the Niners. I feel like this could be another random game that the Rams lose and the Jaguars are still good. It was just because the Seahawks are a better team. So I'm going to take Jacksonville to take the win here in London. Usually Jacksonville does win in London too. I think at one point Trevor Lawrence was undefeated in London, except for last year. But last year was a bad year for the Jaguars. So the Jaguars are going to be in London and they're going to win. Now let's go to our actual NFL games. No London on Thursday night. Now we got the Patriots and Titans. Yeah, no, this is easy, bro. The Patriots are going to destroy the Titans, because the Titans are like the worst team in football. They got rid of Brian Callahan. It's like that's going to do anything. I think that's just going to actually it might make the team slightly better, but other than that, this team is just shitty. The Patriots are just going to get another easy dub. So that's going to continue the first place in the division. It's kind of funny to see the Bills lose. Alright, we got the Chiefs and Raiders, and this is just another easy game to pick. The Chiefs are going to beat the Raiders, bro. They got Rashee Rice back. Okay, this team beat the Lions. They're back. This isn't Kansas City. The Raiders, they did beat the Titans, but the Titans are the worst team in football, or maybe second worst other than the Jets. So this has to be another loss to the Raiders, and Geno Smith is going to throw another like 2 or 3 picks like he usually does. So yeah, I bet you Geno might have like 30 picks by the end of the year. Holy fuck. Alright, now there's a game that two games I can yap about. Alright, so we're going to have the Dolphins versus the Browns, and this is going to be interesting. Both very terrible teams. One team has a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, who is not good. It's not very good. And this team, the Miami Dolphins, their defense and their coach doesn't know how to close out games. I know, I watched this team with my own 2 eyes. I fucking hate it. Honestly, this team, the Browns don't even have an offense. Okay, their offense is terrible. I'll admit the Dolphins have a shitty defense. So it's basically an opposite game. We have a good offense. Browns are going to have a good defense. The offensive line is so bad that Myles Garrett's probably going to eat Tua a couple of times. So honestly, I don't know. This is also probably going to be who will get fired or who will going to be on the super hot seat. I mean, like, McDaniel's, like, overdue now. I think he needs to get fired. After this game, he has to get fired. That's why I kind of want the Browns to beat the Dolphins. Just because he can get rid of Mike McDaniel, make this team better. But at the same time, though, we're going to get laughed at and clowned because we lost to the Browns. But at the same time, if the Dolphins beat the Browns, I feel like Kevin Stefanski's job is going to be on the super hot seat. I don't think so, but though, because they brought the Browns in the playoffs 2 times and they won a playoff game. But I mean, the Browns have been terrible since. So I don't know what to go here because these are 2 shitty teams with one with an offense, the other one no offense. The other one has a defense and not a defense. But because it's at Cleveland and the Miami Dolphins, for whatever reason, cannot close out a fucking game to save their lives. We're going to go with the Browns here. I'm going to go with the Browns. I know, I'm rooting against my own team. But at the same time, there's going to be a positive. Mike McDaniel has to get fired. If not, then I'm going to be pissed. But if we win, I guess cool. But at the same time, no McDaniel firing, meaning that we keep with that fucking clown for the rest of the week. For another week, maybe another couple of weeks. Alright, now we got the Colts and Chargers. This is going to be another interesting game to talk about. The Chargers, they got a lucky win versus the Dolphins. And the Colts, they almost lost to the Cardinals. I don't know how you lose to the Cardinals. I don't know how you almost lose to Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a complete injured team, and the Colts almost lost to them. Now, because the last time the Colts played in Los Angeles, they played like shit. Well, they did play like shit, but they played the best game. They lost. I feel like the Colts, they might be a fraudulent team. They might only beat the good teams. Beat the bad teams. But the Chargers, their team is just completely fucking injured. I don't know who to go here. But I'm going to go with the Chargers to beat the Colts. I feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts beat the Chargers. But I don't feel safe picking the Colts with a good team, so I'm going to go with the Chargers. If they dominate the Cardinals, I might pick the Colts, but they almost lost to the Cardinals. I know the Chargers almost lost to the Dolphins too, but the Dolphins are a way better team. We just have a terrible head coach, alright? So I'm going to go with the Chargers to beat the Colts. Alright, now we got the Jets and Panthers. Ew. Now, the Jets will half decent. I'm going to go with the Jets because the Panthers absolutely suck on the road. But because the Jets are the worst team I have ever seen in my life, they might actually go 0-17. I'm going with the Panthers, dude. They're going to beat the Jets. Panthers are being actually good. The Jets, they're just completely dog shit, and they're just a disaster of a team. This team is horrendous. They need, Aaron Glenn sucks. They only put up a grand total of 11 points last week. It was horrible to watch. I didn't want to watch it again. So honestly, maybe it might be a close game, but because this is the Jets, I'm gonna go with the Carolina Panthers to beat the Jets. So yeah, and now we got the Broncos and Giants. Now they're all coming back from a not a mini bye. They're coming back from a short week. But if this was played in New York, because the Broncos they look good in London, and honestly, they might be tired from the travel and shit like that. I could go with the Giants, but I'm not going to go with the Giants because this is in Denver. I feel like Denver's going to figure this shit out. And Sean Payton and the Broncos, they're usually good in October, okay? They usually cook in October. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos to beat the Giants. But honestly, I was thinking about picking the Giants. I was, but I feel like I have to go with the Broncos because the Broncos, they're good in October. They're good at home. And yeah, the only benefit that the Giants got is that the Broncos, they play in London and they have a bye week, so kind of screwed the Broncos. But at the same time, though, the Giants are not a good team. Not a bad team. Now we got the Eagles and Vikings. Now this is gonna be interesting. The Eagles, they came back from they lost to the Giants. The Vikings, they came back and beat the Browns 2 weeks ago, and they're coming back from the bye week. Now, this is Minnesota. I think Carson Wentz is still starting, not gonna lie. I think he is. Carson Wentz haven't played that bad. The Vikings aren't that bad. But the Eagles, they just been struggling this year, and I feel like this is just another loss to the Eagles. I feel like, hot take, I have to do a hot take per week. We saw what happened with my 2 hot Monday night takes. I'm going to take the Vikings to beat the Eagles, okay? The Eagles haven't looked good. The Vikings just came back from the bye week. I think they're all organized. I think they're going to get this win versus the Eagles. The Eagles haven't been looking good at all. They're a fraudulent team. And I feel like the Eagles are just going to stumble to their bye week, which is probably going to be week 9, I think. Not going to lie. I don't know, though. Because this Eagles team is just struggling majorly. And I'm just, concerned about that. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. The Bills and the Saints. I'm going to go with the Bills, bro. This is fucking easy, bro. The Saints are a good team, okay? Don't get me wrong. They're not a bad team. They're not looking that bad. But the Bills are just a way better team. They beat the Commandos. Jake Moody's good. His whole team is pretty good. So I'm going to go with the Bills to beat the Saints. Now, we got the Packers and Cardinals. And honestly, if Kyler Murray was playing, this whole Cardinals team was healthy, I might actually go with the Cardinals because the Packers suck. They're just like the Panthers. They suck on the road. They lost to the Browns. Now I think about it, I think the Jets might get the first win versus the Panthers, but I'm going to still pick the Panthers, so I'm going to be safe. But because the Cardinals are completely injured, Trey McBride is the only offensive player on the team, and I guess is Marvin Harrison playing? I don't know. I don't know if Kyler's playing either, but I'm going to go with the safe pick. I'm going to pick the Packers. But honestly, if the Cardinals beat the Packers, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I'm going to take the Packers just to be safe. And this team is not horrible, but there's a lot of concerns in this team. And we got the Commandos versus the Cowboys. And honestly, I don't know who to go here. The Commandos, they lost to the Caleb Williams-led Bears, but honestly, it was a close game. The Cowboys, they lost to the Panthers in a final second field goal. One thing that I learned about the Dallas Cowboys that they have like the worst defense in the NFL, and the Commandos don't have the greatest defense. They have like a mid-tier defense. Now, if Terry McLaurin is playing, I feel like I'm definitely going to take Washington. But if not, this isn't Dallas, and I feel like Dallas is pissed about how they're performing. I'm going to go with the Cowboys to beat the Commandos. But this could be a very good shootout because as these teams, they don't have the greatest defense. And honestly, the Cowboys, they do own the Commandos. Now, I know the last couple Cowboys wins, that was when the Commandos were terrible, but they still beat the Commandos last year. And they're going to I think this is going to be another close game, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys to beat the Commandos. But another win for the Cowboys. The Commandos, not looking good for them. Alright, now looking at the Sunday Night Football game, we got the Falcons and the 49ers. The 49ers are slowly but surely becoming like an XFL team. This team sucks. This team is not good at all. And honestly, if their team is completely healthy, this team would be elite. But because it's not good. And then the Falcons, they beat the Buffalo Bills. Now, anyone can beat the Buffalo Bills, especially if you have like more than a win, or more than 2 wins. We've seen that. But the Falcons, I think they're more motivated. They're more motivated after that Bills game. They're like, alright guys, let's step in San Francisco, let's beat the 49ers. And I feel like, now I wouldn't be surprised if this would be the most Falcons loss of all time to lose to the 49ers, okay? Mac Jones is looking like shit. Christian McCaffrey's the only bright spot on the team. I guess Kendrick Bourne, because for whatever reason, he's good again. I don't know. Honestly, this 49ers team is cooked. But I'm going to go with the safe pick. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the 49ers, but I'm going to go with the Falcons. Well, the 49ers beat the Falcons, but I'm going to go with the Falcons to beat the 49ers at home. Because this 49ers team, not the greatest. It's not the greatest. Now, if the whole team is healthy, they also lost Fred Warner too, but if this whole team was healthy, I'm taking the 49ers all day, but this is not a healthy team. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons to beat the 49ers. And then we got this entertaining Monday Night Football game. The Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions. The Lions, they lost to the Chiefs. And the Buccaneers, they're the best team in football. But one problem with the Buccaneers, and I mean, if this whole team was healthy, I'm going with the Buccaneers all day. Okay, I feel like they can beat the Lions, but because this whole team is just injured, alright? And the Lions are pissed after losing to the Chiefs after the referees helped up the Chiefs. The Lions are going to probably beat the Buccaneers. They're probably pissed, A, and B, the Buccaneers team, like, they're good, but they're injured. They don't have, like, Mike Evans is out, Emeka Ibuka's out, Bucky Irving's out, Chris Godwin's out, Rashard White is not the greatest. The tight end's fine. Baker Mayfield's MVP. So honestly, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions to beat the Buccaneers still. I feel like the Buccaneers, not the greatest team. Well, they're not going to be the greatest team because they're injured, but I still have them being the best team. But if the Buccaneers beat the Lions, then we might have to start talking about how the Lions might be frauds. But the Buccaneers, they can be the best team in football still. But that title will definitely go away this week, I feel like. And they'll go to the Detroit Lions. And then we got one more game, and I don't know why. This is at 10 fucking p.m. You insane, bro? Live on the fucking East Coast. I have to stay up till like 1 a.m. Yeah, I know. I'm not doing that. Because the last 10 p.m. game we had, that was like the worst shit I have ever seen in my life. That was the worst game I've ever seen in my life. And I am not, the Chargers and Raiders game. That shit was boring. And this is going to be another boring game, it looks like. Two amazing defenses. It's going to be a defensive battle slugfest. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Now, they do have good offenses. Well, the Seahawks have a good offense. And the Texans, I know they've been looking good in the last 2 weeks, but facing on the Titans and the Cooper Rush-led Ravens, I think anyone can beat those teams. And the Seahawks, so those still the better team. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks to beat the Houston Texans. And yeah, this is going to wrap up my video. So there could be a lot of upsets. There could be a lot of correct takes. Let's see what happens. I went a very good 11 and I had like 11 picks. I think I went 11 and 2 or something. So I had a very good week. Because I took my hot takes, and I should probably take more hot takes, but I didn't have one hot take though about the Cowboys losing to the Commanders. But those definitely more potential games. Like maybe the Jets might beat the Panthers, or maybe the Giants might beat the Broncos. I wouldn't be surprised. Or the Dolphins beating the Browns. Oh yeah, but honestly, this will wrap up my video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.